The limo sped west across the causeway, toward the sparkling Miami skyline. Water all around, harsh orange sunlight in the haze. A departing Carnival cruise ship out the left windows, passengers waving at the world in general. To the right, private islands, armed guards, yachts, helicopter pads. Rusty grabbed the bottle of Kentucky Sour Mash by the neck and refilled glasses. They passed the port, huge cranes dipping into freight ships, hoisting steel cargo boxes filled with coffee beans, wicker furniture, uncut cocaine in pre-Columbian statues, and heat-expired stowaways. A fourth name tag, Brad. He raised his drink in toast. "We're wild and crazy guys." 3 glasses upended in unison. Keith clenched his face and shook off the afterburn, then opened watering eyes. "That was great." Brad pointed at Doug. "You didn't drink yours." "We're all supposed to do it at the same time," said Rusty. "It's the rule," said Keith. Doug looked at his melting ice cubes. "I think we should slow down. It's only 9 in the morning, and we haven't been to bed." The causeway tapered into a bridge. Up they went, the downtown financial buildings to the south, blinding glass and bright white concrete, the postmodern condos on Brickell, the ancient Everglades Hotel, Freedom Tower, Bayside Market. "Are we going to have to ban calls from his wife?" said Brad. "It's like she's here in the damn limo with us. That's the whole point of these conventions." Rusty was the de facto leader of the group, having the big ketchup packet accounts. He grabbed Doug's knee with his right hand. "We all have to go through our little acts at home to keep the peace, but now we're on the road." The others nodded. He squeezed Doug's knee harder. "Now show her." Doug raised the glass and grimaced. Down the bridge now, splitting the American Airlines basketball arena and the Herald building, the freeway passing over the mole people below on Biscayne Boulevard, families in rental cars locking doors and running red lights. "On 3, said Rusty. 3. Doug slammed his drink back. Part of it went the wrong way, and he made the wide-eyed expression of someone who just backed over 3 Harleys at Daytona. The guys. "Hooray!" Rusty poured again. "That calls for a drink." Doug fidgeted nervously. He looked out the back window at the rising sun scattering light through faded blue girders of a stacked interchange. He turned around. His glass was full again. Keith was tearing apart his wallet. "Somebody stole my money." "When?" asked Brad. "I'm not sure. I just know I had a whole bunch of 20s, and now they're all gone." "You idiot," said Rusty. "You spent them at the strip joint last night. This morning." "Maybe a couple, but I couldn't have gone through all of it. Someone ripped me off." "Right. And someone ripped you off in New Orleans and Nashville and again in Houston. It's a regular crime wave." "Exactly," said Keith, turning his pants pockets inside out. "How come none of the rest of us gets ripped off?" "That's what makes it so baffling." "It's not baffling. It's exquisitely simple. Every time we go to a strip joint, you get stopped at the exotic dancer roadblock, and they make you pay the stupidity tax. In your case, it's quite steep." "Chauffeur!" yelled Brad. "Turn up the radio and go faster." The driver twisted the knob on Lenny Kravitz and hit his blinker. The black stretch waited for a Ferrari to blur by, then accelerated into the obnoxious lane of the Dolphin Expressway. The next round was waiting. "On 3. Drinks went down. Keith called off the search for his missing money and began making flatulent sounds with his hands and otherwise clowning around for the amusement of the gang, because it was his job, being the fattest. Rusty held the bottle of Sour Mash to the skylight. "It's empty." "Covered," said Brad. pulling an emergency fifth from a satchel of trade show mustard samples. He began spilling as the limo approached the Miami River and angled up a drawbridge over a low-drafting Haitian-bound sloop full of stolen bicycles. "On 3. "We should slow down," said Doug. "We'll be too drunk to make the training seminar." The others laughed. "What's so funny?" "We're not going to no dipshit seminar," said Rusty. "Making the most of FaceTime? Fuck FaceTime." "We'll get in trouble," said Doug. "Didn't you ever go on senior skip day?" asked Keith. "No." "Well, you're with the varsity now," said Rusty. "Drink up." The limo eased into a toll booth. "Are you going to go my way?" "How much farther to the airport?" Brad yelled over the music. The driver turned down the radio. 5 minutes. "Hey, there's the Orange Bowl," said Doug. He fell back in his seat and saw Keith pull a burlap gunny sack from his briefcase. "What's that for?" They laughed again. "Time we got even with Dave," said Keith. Brad pulled coils of braided nylon rope from a shopping bag. "He's going to get a surprise at the airport." "What are you guys planning?" said Doug. "This looks like trouble." "All those little practical jokes Dave keeps playing on us," said Keith. "Exploding ink pens, loosening the lid on salt shakers, buttering toilet seats," said Rusty. "Leaving phone messages to call back a new customer, Mr. Lion," said Brad. "And it's the phone number for the zoo," said Keith. "Payback's a bitch." Doug trembled. "I have to call my wife." Rusty grabbed the cell phone away from him and tossed it to Keith, who tossed it to Brad. A guard waved the limo through a gate at the executive airport on the west side of Miami International. "I have a bad feeling," said Doug. The stretch rolled across the tarmac in the morning sun. Fuel trucks, guys with orange batons, a flight tower. "There it is," said Rusty. A whispering Lear made a 90-degree turn on the runway and taxied to the chocks. The chauffeur swung the limo toward the passenger door, where they were flipping down the stairs. Rusty tapped the driver on the shoulder. "No, pull around the back of the plane." "What?" "We want to surprise him with the limo and everything." He handed the driver a 20. "Just do it." The Lear's door opened. A man in a dark, double-breasted suit stepped onto the top of the stairs. He stopped and smiled as Miami hit him in the face. Palm trees, warm breeze, sticky sense of desperation. He raised a McDonald's soda cup and sipped through a straw. From the backside of the plane, they could only see the fold-down stairs. Nobody getting off. "What's he waiting for?" said Rusty. "Open the door quietly," said Keith, gripping the mouth of the gunny sack. The man from the Lear finished savoring his first breaths of paradise. He took another sip from his soda cup and started to descend the stairs, the idling jet turbines winding down. When he got to the bottom, he heard a slapping drum roll of clumsy, drunken footsteps. Before he could turn around, a sack went over his head and down to his hips. "This is a kidnapping, motherfucker!" The man thrashed, but the gang was too strong, even hammered. They hustled him to the limo and shoved him in back. Brad slammed the door behind them. The chauffeur turned around. "What the hell's going on?" "Don't worry," said Rusty. "We know this guy. It's a practical joke." "Surprise!" said Keith, pulling off the gunny sack. "That's not Dave. He's got a gun!" Bang, bang, bang. "I've been hit! Grab it!" Rusty dove for the pistol. The two men struggled, crashing into a box of prison-grade relish trays. Convenience store coffee stirrers went flying.